Hello and welcome. Thank you for joining me. My name is Paula, also known as The Snail Garden on social media. I will put links in the description box below where you can find me. I also have an Etsy shop, Eva Faith, where I sell progress keepers and stitch markers for knitting and crochet, project bags and floss minders, and I hand dye linen for cross stitching. This is my January vlog. I have a small amount of video of the walks I've been on, and I haven't really been anywhere else other than our local walks this month. The rest of the time I have spent working on my projects. So I will insert a short video of what I've been up to and then come back and discuss my whips. again. At the beginning of January, I decided I would work on one knitting project and one cross-stitch project, and I would fully finish some of my December projects. So far, I've kept on track, almost. I will start with a knitting project because I only have one of those in my patchwork bag I made. This is the Habitation Throw by Helen of Curious Handmade, and I'm knitting this in 2 yarns by Nora George. And this is all I have left. I'm hoping I'm going to have enough of this. I'm striping them. And I've really been enjoying working just on one knitting project and mostly on one cross-stitch project, because I'm beginning to see quite a bit of progress. This was originally my travel project, and I had knit this much of the blanket previously before Christmas, because here's my progress keeper. And having decided we don't really travel anywhere at the moment, I thought I'd crack on and finish this one. And as you can, let's get further back, as you can see, she says, I can't even see where it is at the moment. This is where I started just before Christmas, and this is how much I have done since then. And it's getting quite big. At the beginning of January, I think I had just turned the corner. So as you can see, it's an arm's length of knitting I have done in January. I think I'm down to about 150 stitches, and I'm working my way down to the final corner, so it's just a gradual decrease. And then when it's blocked, it will open out the eyelets. I don't know if it's showing, but one of the yarns has stellina in it, so there's a little bit of sparkle. But I don't think that's going to show up at the moment. I had planned to finish it by the end of January, but I'm a slow stitcher and I'm happy with that. For me, I enjoy the process. So that should be finished in February, hopefully. The cross-stitch project I wanted to finish, I did manage to finish. And this is A Year in Stitches by Victoria Sampler Company. And it was a year-long sale on their Facebook page. I have stitched this mostly 2/2 on 32 count linen that I hand dyed myself. This is my colourway Quartz, which is a pale grey with just hints of pink. I mostly stuck to the designs. I just changed the house on this one, and these 3 I changed. This one is as the pattern. Again, I changed the house in the November one. Sorry, let's get a bit closer so I can hold it up. There was meant to be a turkey here for Thanksgiving, but we don't really have Thanksgiving as such in this country. And I'm a vegetarian, so I thought I'd give the turkey a reprieve and put the year that this was mostly stitched in. I didn't quite finish it in that year, but it was more relevant to that year. And this is the December one that I've just finished. I've just ironed a piece of interfacing onto the back, and the plan is to make it into a wall hanging. So that was one of my 4 main whips that I finished. One of my other goals for January was to fully finish my Christmas stitching. And the first one I fully finished was this free design by Paola of Puntini Puntini. I have stitched this on 36 count Zweigart Aqua, and I changed the colours so that the berries matched my berries in bloom that I stitched the previous year, which I will show in a moment. I have it in a little tart tin, but I've given myself options. He's not actually stuck in the tin, so that if I want to hang it on the Christmas tree at any time I can. I fully finished it with this little organza ruffle and a matching loop. And I just tuck the loop away under the back when I want to have it as a little ornament that sits down. The next item I fully finished is the berries in bloom from the previous Christmas, and this was a free design by Hands-On Design, Kathy Hands-On Design, and this again was stitched on 36 count Zweigart Aqua and using all the called for DMC colours. And he's come out quite big actually, bigger than I thought it was going to be. And I finished him with a ribbon and a little snowflake background. As you can see, my plan is to have a whole set of decorations with this linen. My third finish is this little hanging pillow. Let It Snow from Whilst Iris Naps. That was another generous free pattern. And as in the original design, I have put some little snowflake charms at the bottom and edged it in some white glass beads. The only thing I changed is I didn't do the year design on the back. I just used this fabric. Over Christmas, I then stitched this design, and this is Basketful of Wintertime by Brenda Gervais of With Thy Needle and Thread. It's using all the called for colours except for the red, It was more of an orange than a red, and I wanted my Santa to be red. And my two greens were practically identical. And so this is one of the called for greens, and this is just a DMC I used. And I filled it with crushed walnut shells. It's quite a chunky little pillow. I did think that the stars didn't really show up because it was stitched 1/2 on 36 count. But I think they are showing up now. And this is my hand-dyed linen in the colourway Woodland, which is a very subtle green with some hints of brown to it. And I've just simply finished this one with some almost matching, I felt, in the tones of green. I had another start and fully finish. Don't be too impressed because it's only tiny. This is the first of 12 free designs by Jeanette Douglas, and these are called her mini bouquets. This was the January design. I have stitched this 2/2 on 32 count Country Mocha, and just finished it with a piece of cotton and rickrack. And this is filled with my own homegrown lavender. My plan is to turn them all into little lavender sachets. I was looking last night for, I thought I'd put a button on here, but I couldn't quite find what I was looking for last night. And those are all of my fully finished. I have an unplanned start. Isn't that always the way? I was watching Elizabeth Ann Can Stitch, and she was stitching the Quaker snowflakes on the blue background. This is by Hello from Liz Matthews. I'd seen this and liked it before, but watching it actually being stitched, I had to start it. And I'm also stitching mine on the blue background. I'm stitching this 1/2 on 40 count linen that I have hand dyed. And this is the colourway Night Sky. I really like this colourway. It was a new colour, a new recipe I made. I think it's going to be quite a slow progress being on 40 count, but and I ordered this at the same time as I ordered a future start, the Swans by Cottage Garden Samplings. You can't just order one chart, can you? I also have a planned start. And I bought this last February, but didn't actually stitch any of them. I'm not sure which one I'm going to start with. Possibly the Be Mine And obviously this is the Love Notes by Brenda Gervais. And I'm trying to stitch this from stash. I only have one of the colours, the dark sort of rusty red. So I have just pulled anchor threads from stash. Though I did cave and buy the 2 greens because I didn't really have any olivey greens. So I'm not sure which ones I will use. So I hope to have at least one of these finished by the end of February. Again, I'm going to try and use 40 count. The white didn't show up on the linen I had dyed, so I'm going to just have to dye another piece of fabric a bit darker, I think, to help the white show up more, because it's only going to be 1/2. And I'm trying to lead my lovely friend Nicola of Bumble Stitches astray and get her to join me on that little sal. When I finished the Victoria sampler stitch along, I had this piece left over, and I think that that may be just enough for the current sal that Victoria Sampler is running, because it's going to be a long thin band, so that's going to be a new start. This is where it all gets out of control, isn't it? I'm not sure whether that'll be this month or next month, but I'd like to stitch this Queen of the Needle by Brenda Gervais. This was gifted to me by Nicola. And I'm thinking I will stitch it on this, which is 40 count birch that I have hand dyed. Being 40 count, they are going to take me a while because I do have to use a magnifying glass for that. I also have this 40 count linen. I haven't actually named this one yet. I think I was a bit stumped as to what I was going to call this. It's showing up a little bit darker, the modelling is, than it is in real life. And my plan for this is hopefully to stitch the potting shed by Brenda Gervais. If the sheep will stand out enough, I'll have to just test it first. If not, I'll have to do it on a smaller count with 2 threads. And this was very generously gifted to me by Kirsty of Crafting Kirsty. On her Instagram, over the 12 days of Christmas, she gifted a pattern, and I was lucky enough to win the potting shed, which I absolutely love. So that will hopefully be a new start soon. I might have to rethink the fabric on that one. I think there's enough there to keep me out of mischief during February and beyond probably, and I still have my long-term whips to finish. I hope you'll join me and keep me on track, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.